So we'll have a small recap of what we learned in the last session, maybe the second day session. First day we already recapped on second day. Second day session we'll recap it now. I think second day which we have started is, I think we have started from this exercise file. So let me open that exercise file. I think we started from this. Vehicle sales is the one which you did it. You did a task on the vehicle sales. And the third one is mission feed data. It's an Excel file. We have to get this Excel file into Power BI and then we have to transform it and then we have to load it. But the problem here is the data is not proper. Mission name and you can see the group name and subgroup name and feeder name. But date is the heading of a table. Date is the heading of a column. Date should not be the heading of a column. Date on the heading or column. Date should be the data of your column. It should be the data. For example, how this data should be framed is lathe machining, turning, manual feed 2 to 25. What is the value? Similarly, same value 3 to 25. What is the value? Same thing 4 to 25. So the date should be in row wise. It's not in a proper data. This data, when you see it, it's good. But when you want to create a report, you cannot create a report. You cannot sort it. You cannot filter it. So we want to convert this into a proper data. So how do we do that? So let me open Power BI. Last session itself I recommended, don't open multiple Power BI at a time. It occupies more resources on your RAM. So open only one Power BI at a time. Don't open multiple Power BI. So I opened Power BI here. And let us get the data from Power BI. So get data and we have to transform the data in a proper one. The column is not proper. We will transform it into a proper data. Yes. So blank report. So we know how to get the data. Assume that we know that I'm going to get data from Excel. So straight away I can click on Excel. On Excel, I am going to select that particular file. The file is mission feed data. And I say open. So as usual, it goes to the navigator screen. In the navigator screen, let me select the table name. Yes, I select the table name, that is daily data. I click on transform data here. So we'll click on transform data. It goes to Power Query again. And here there are two methods of transforming the data, converting your data into a proper data. First we have to check the green and gray and heading is proper. Heading is not proper here. So first we have to promote the heading. You know how to promote the heading. You can see here it shows a message. Preview may be up to 6 days old. 6 days before I opened the same file. Today file 6 days before. Last Wednesday we opened this file. That's why it's asking, do you want to refresh it? I think I didn't add any data. If you added the data, you can go for refresh. I think I didn't add the data. So let me close this. Now close because I didn't add any data here. So I want to promote this heading. You know how to promote the heading. There are two methods. Use first row as the header or go to the corner area here and make a click. Use first row as the header. So this has been converted into a heading. So now we have to transform this data into a proper one. The date should come in row wise. So there are two methods to do it. One is select the date. From first to the last we have to select the date. How can I select the date to the first to the last? Select the first date and scroll to the right hand side. Hold the shift key and I select the last date. First date to the last date. Hold the shift key and go to the last date and select it. This is method number one. Then what we have to do it is we have to go to the home tab. Under home tab you can see that, you have to go to the transform tab. Under the transform tab there is an option called as unpivot columns. Unpivot columns. Go to the transform, unpivot column. Straight away you can click on unpivot or there is an option of unpivoting. You can use this unpivot or there is one more option unpivot other columns. We'll see that in another few minutes. So let us click on unpivot columns. So unpivot columns, yes. Now our data has turned into a proper format. So you can see date, each date, under the each date we can see the value of the date is also displayed. This is method number one. I'll undo this method. I am undoing this method, unpivot. Another method to do this is reverse. Select the first four columns. Select the first four columns. Then we can go to the transform data. We can go to unpivot columns and then we can select unpivot other columns. Super. Unpivot other columns. Yes. So we have unpivoted the other columns. And assume that I will change the heading. So this is my sales date. Double click and you can change the heading. And can I load this data now? Green, everything we have converted, and I assume that this is amount. So let me put it as amount here or some value here. Okay. So can I load this now? Sales date has to be converted into a proper format. So you can see the sales date is not in a proper format. One is you can click on this ABC. One is there is an option available which we discussed. You can see there is the detect data type. If you detect it, it automatically detects the data type. That's one method. If Power Query is not detecting the data type, we can forcefully change the data type also. How do we change the forcefully data type is click on this ABC and you can go for date. So it has turned into a proper date format. Yes. So now this data has been converted into a proper data. Now you can go to the home tab, close and load. This data will be loaded into Power BI. So we have seen how to convert the data into a proper data. I have seen most of, in your company itself, I have seen most of the data was not properly ordered like this. நிறைய பேர் ஹெட்டிங்ல போய் month type பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க, ஹெட்டிங்ல போய் company name type பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க, ஹெட்டிங்ல போய் date type பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க, which is not a proper method. We have to convert it, we have to unpivot it and convert it into a proper data. Okay. This is one first we have seen. Next, I will do everything in the same file itself, or time permits, I will open a separate file also. Next, what we did is, I think you did an exercise on the city month wise sales. You did it, you have converted this data. This data is also a similar kind of data you have converted into a proper data. Where the heading is not proper, we have converted that data into a proper. You can see here, year, month, where we can see the date, city, and we have converted the city into proper data also. This you did it in the last session. Then, next one, I can see this plant transaction summary. So let me open that plant transaction summary. When I open this, I can see 4 or 5 sheets are available. So 4 or 5 sheets are available. Plant 1, plant 2, plant 3, plant 4. All the data are available here. Item names. But the problem between that first plant and second plant is we have an extra column called as tax, which is not available on the plant 1. And when I go to the plant 3, we have the tax column, but the tax column is on the right hand side. It's not properly aligned. There is a new column, there is an extra column here, and column is not arranged properly. And fourth, we have plant name is in the first column, whereas all the other 3 plant name is in the second column. So most of the data are identical. Some data are changed. Some columns have changed, but most of the data are identical. So we have to merge it, we have to convert it into a single data. We have to append it and we have to convert it as a single data. First, let me load this into Power BI. I'll go to Power BI. As usual, get data, Excel workbook. I click on Excel workbook and I select that file, open. It will go to the navigator. Could you tell me how can I select all the 4 sheets? 4 sheets will be displayed. The 4 sheets I select. How can I select all the 4 sheets at a time? But where we have to click on the shift? You cannot go to the left hand side. You cannot go to the left hand side and make a click. If I go to the left hand side and make a click and hold the shift key and make a click, sometimes it's not selected properly. So you should not do it on the left hand side. You have to do somewhere else on the center here. Click on the center, hold the shift key and click on the bottom so that all the 4 sheets are selected. Then let us go to the transform data. It goes to Power Query again. So before appending the data, before merging or before combining the data, first we have to check for the 3 things as usual. First one is whether your heading is proper, green, heading is proper, data type, second sheet, same thing, third sheet, same thing, fourth sheet, same thing. So we have checked it. You can see it says 7 days old. So as of now, I will close this. So now I want to combine all the 4 data, all the 4 sheets into a single sheet. So go to the home tab. Under home tab, you have to go for append query. So there are 2 options available, append query or append query as new. So we prefer to append query as new. So it will create a new query, and this new query, it will append all the plant 1, plant 2, plant 3, plant 4 here. So let me do that. Append query as new. And it's very simple, very straightforward steps. You have to say 3 or more tables, and you can select all the 3 or 4 tables using the shift key and add it here. Unknowingly, if we added 1 more sheet, so suppose unknowingly I added this P2 twice, P1 twice, how can I remove this? Click on this. On the bottom, there is an option of removing. Or there is an option of moving upwards and downwards. You can rearrange it. I want P2 should come first and P3 should come next. You can rearrange it upwards and downwards. You can rearrange it. Will it make any difference on the reporting? No. No difference on the reporting. For our convenience, we are rearranging it. That's it. Now I say OK. Yes. But, and I can rename this file. I will give a name, maybe all plants. I have given all plants transaction. But if you want to modify, suppose tomorrow I want to add a new data here. I want to add a new data. I forgot to add one table. I didn't add a table, or I want to remove the table. How can I do this? We have to go to that particular combined table. On the combined table, on the applied steps, you can see there is a settings options available. Click on the settings option and then we have to change it. Suppose I want to add a new column. I want to add a new sheet. You can add it here. But after merging or after appending, you can see there is a gray. The reason why there is a gray is in tax column, one plant doesn't have the tax. That's why it's gray. How to convert this gray into a value? Right click on the top of the column. Then we have to go for replace values and change all the null into 0. Now can I load this? Can I load this into Power BI? The Power BI load panlama? No. Why? Date month. Okay. So date month should be combined into a single cell. How do we combine it? Select the date, select the month holding the control key or shift key, and then two methods are there. You have to remember two things. One is transforming, another one is adding. What is the difference between transforming and adding is, adding means what it will do is, it will add the date, month and year, and it will add it into a separate new column. புதுசா ஒரு column. It will create a fresh new column and all the day, month, year will be combined into a new column. That is called as adding column. But I want to combine it. But I don't want to add it in new column. I want to combine it in the same column. 3 column made it into 1 column. So 3 set to 1. But that is 3 plus 1, 4 columns. You will get 4 columns. When I use add column, you will get 3 plus 1, 4. But when I use merge column, 3 will turn into 1. So 3 column will turn into 1 column. So you decide which you want to do. I think we used transform. We used transform, merge columns. Click on that merge columns. Click on merge columns. Yes. And what is the common separator? I believe try to use your date separator. In my system, the date is having hyphen. So I prefer to go for hyphen. Custom. And I will put a hyphen here. And what is the name of the column? The column which we are going to merge. What is the name of the column? Let us say date, sales date or some other. Let's say OK. Yes. You can see there is a new column created. Not new column created. 3 column has been merged and we got a separate column here. Now you cannot load it as usual. We have to convert this date into a proper date. One is as usual. You can go to transform, direct data type. Or else you can go to this ABC and click on date. Can I load this now? Load panlama. Can I load it now? Why? Unnecessarily, why to load all the 5 sheets which is not required? I'm going to use only this sheet for my reporting. Why to load all the other 4 sheets? We don't want all the other 4 sheets. So what we do is right click on that first sheet and we have to go for enable. Uncheck that enable load. No other go. You have to go to each and every sheet. Uncheck that enable load. Uncheck that enable load. So everything we are unchecking that enable load. Now if I close and load only this sheet. Already I have loaded one more data, that is daily data and all plant. Only these 2 sheets will be loaded. This 4 sheet will not be loaded here. Let us check. I'll click on close and apply. Click on close. I'll click on close and apply. It's loaded to Power BI now. Yes, we got only the 2 sheets available here. So we have seen how to combine multiple sheets and make it as a single sheet. If the data is identical. Let me open another file. So I'm not closing this because we already did it. Let us take this data. For example, the next one is where we can see folders. In 07 orders, I can see there are 3 or 4. So let me move this file, Control X. I will move this file outside my table and I will put it in some other area here. So later we'll see how to copy it and paste it and update it. Now I have a folder called as 07 orders where I can see 4 files are available. These 4 files, we want to combine all the 4 files and make it as a single file. All the 4 files are identical. So all the 4 files are identical. We have to combine all the 4 files and we have to make it as a single. So as usual, you can see the data are identical. Last session we combined the sheets. Now we are going to combine the files. So let me open Power BI once again. So it's not an Excel file, it's a Excel file. CSV file. It can be a CSV file, it can be a text file, it can be a PDF file, it can be Excel file, it can be any sorts of files. So we are going to combine that file and we have to make it as a single file now. So open a blank report. Then we should not go to Excel workbook or we should not go to get data and we should not select text and CSV. We should select it as, go to more, under more, we have to go for folder. We have to select an option called as folder. Folder, connect. So folder and I click on connect. There are 2 methods. If you know that folder name where that file is stored, you can go to the top and you can copy that folder name, Control C, and you can come to Power BI and you can paste that folder path here. That's one method. Another method is you can browse and you can find the location where the file is located. And they say OK. As usual, it goes to the navigator. Under navigator, you can see all the list of files available here. It will be loaded. Now let us go to the transform data. I recommend always to go to transform data. An email load straight away, don't load it, don't combine it. Always prefer to go for transform data. Under transform data, fortunately, all the files are CSV files here. So we can straight away combine. Suppose I have CSV, I have text file, I have Excel file, I have PBIX file, PowerPoint file, but I want only the CSV file to be combined. So what can I do now? If I want only CSV to be combined, you can go to the extension filter and you can filter only that CSV. But when I select this and I go for the home tab, under the home tab, you can see there is an option called as combine file. This is the option used for combining multiple files into a single file. But unfortunately, this option is graded out, it's deactivated. So what has to be done? Either you can click on content, then the combine is activated. Another method is, there is a 2 arrow marks available here. Very good. Click on the 2 arrow marks. Either click on the content area and go for combine, or you can see there is a 2 arrow marks available. Click on the 2 arrow marks and it says evaluating query and it shows the preview of your first file, how your first file looks like. This is how my first file looks like. By default, normally it will show 1000, but combining it will show only first 200. You can select the entire data set also, but please don't select this option. Skip file if there is a error. What it will do is, if there is a error in the file, it will skip that file. It will not load that file itself. But better, if there is a error, show me the error. We'll solve that error using the Power Query. So don't select that option. Don't select the option and just simply say OK here. Yes. You can notice all the 4 files has been combined together into a single file. How can I check whether all the 4 files are combined or not? You can see the source name and click on the filter of the source name, but only 2 things are displayed. Load more. Very good. Load more, where you can see everything is available here. Fine. Now assume I will close and load this. Close and load this. So every day, every month, every week you are downloading some data, and we have selected the folder and we have combined the folder into a single file, and now we are loading it. Let me create a small report, because tomorrow I am going to add a new data here and we'll see whether the new data is appended or merged or combined to my data here. So let me create a small report. I will create a report. Maybe I'll go for a column chart and I'll select this. Maybe the order date, I'll put it into x-axis. Order amount, I'll put it into y-axis. So all the years are displayed here. All the years are displayed. Assume that today we are downloading a data. Today this 2024. Wantedly I kept it in some other area, the order 2024. I cut this file and I'll go to that particular folder and I paste it here. Yes. We cut the file and copied it, and we moved the file to some other location. Whether it will be updated here? No, it will not get updated. So what has to be done? Refresh. I click on refresh. Yes. The newly added data is also refreshed. So daily or monthly or weekly, you have to download the data and you have to put it into that folder. In mail, you data download panni and the folder paste panna. You have to just put it in the folder if the data are identical, if the data are similar, if the data are identical. Fine. Next, what we have seen is if the data are non-identical. We have two different types of data. That's the last one we have did in the last exercise. I think we'll take this file, part sales tracker. We have this file, part sales tracker, where we can see two sheets are available. Two sheets are different two sheets. One is having the sales distribution data. Another one is having the part master. So in the sales distribution data, based on this part number, I want to know what is the name of this part. I want to know what is the rate of this part. What is the unit of measures of this part. Normally, we'll write a VLOOKUP function for this. We'll write 3 VLOOKUP functions for this. Instead of writing 3 VLOOKUP, let us see how to do this in Power BI and Power Query. So I'll open the Power BI. Under Power BI, once again, let us select. As of now, we are working only with identical data. Here we are going to see about non-identical data. Data is different. These are common columns. There should be a common columns between two tables. Today we will see how to bring multiple files. Two files now okay. Suppose I have 10 files. Data are somewhat different data. How can I combine all the 10 files and make it as one report? Today we are going to see that. Today our chapter, after recapping, that's our first chapter. Okay, blank report. And let me go to that Excel workbook again. And I'll select that part sales tracker. Open. Putting into Power Query again. I think we did the Power Query multiple times in the last session. Power Query, last session we have completed Power Query. We are not going to do much thing on Power Query from now. Select two sheets. Sorry. Transform data. It goes to Power Query. Once again, check for the column quality. 3 things. Heading is perfect, green, and data type. Now you have to place the cursor on the sales distribution area. Place the cursor on the sales distribution area because here, based on this part number, I want to know what is the name of the part, what is the unit of measure of the part, what is the rate of this part. So place the cursor on the sales distribution. You have to go to Home tab. Under Home tab, there are two options, Merge Query as new. But here we don't prefer Merge Query as a new. Here we prefer Merge Query. Merge Queries. Click on Merge Queries. Now it will show you two tables. First table is already selected because that's where my cursor is. Second table is the table where we have the part master. And here we have to select what is the common column between the two tables. I think part number. These are all the two common columns. So select two common columns. What will happen if I selecting the non-common column? Suppose I am selecting the part number here. I am selecting the part name here. Will it throw an error? No, not at all. It will not throw an error, but unfortunately you can see it's showing some message here that zero match. The match is 0. So select the right column and left outer first matching data. Based on the first matching data, I want the other data here. Yes, that's correct. In old version, you have to manually select whether left out or right. Time permits, we'll see the right and full outer, inner, left, if time permits, we'll see that. And most of the time, we'll be using this left outer. All from first and matching data from select. I want all the data and matching data from the second. And fuzzy match is equivalent to approximate match in Excel. Suppose the particular part number 1040 is not available. It will find 1041 next nearest match. That is approximate. We don't want approximate. So let us say OK here. On the right hand side corner, part master. So where we can see two arrows are appearing. I want what are all the columns I want it. Click on the two arrows where I can see here which are all the columns you want, you can select it. For example, I want the part name and I want the unit of measures, I want the rate. So this is equivalent to writing 3 lookups. 3 lookup instead of writing 3 lookup function, we can do this and use the original name as prefix. That means part master dot part name, part master dot UOM, part master dot rate. That's how it will be combined. So if you don't want it, you can untick it. Or I have selected it now. Later I want to remove that. You know how to do that. So you can see everything is coming here with the path master dot name, path master dot. If you don't want it, you can go to that apply the steps again. There we can see the path master. I will delete that. Okay. Right, and even you can move your columns also. But suppose the path name I want it very next to the path number. I can move it and I can bring it next to the path number here. Now I want to write a formula Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4 and year put together. I want the year quantity. How can I write the formula? Select all the 4 columns. Don't need for writing the formula. 2 things. One is transforming the column and adding the column. I think you would have understood the difference between transforming. 4 columns in the one column, one single column that is called as transforming. All the column plus one more column, 5th column, that is called as adding column. Here I will go with add columns, because later I may add some data here. I will add column for the better. I will add column, and what has to be done here? From date, and you have to go to standard. Under standard, you have to click on add. So because we want to add all the 4 columns, whether you want to multiply, add or subtract, I click on add. Where you can see a new column is added here. Double click and you can change the name as year quantity. Similarly, I want to multiply 2 columns, year quantity and rate. I want to multiply it, and I always recommend whenever you insert a new column, try to give some meaningful name for it. Inserted sum. Today I may understand what is this inserted sum. Tomorrow I may not understand this. So we can right click and better to give some rename and give a meaningful name for this applied steps. Okay. I want to multiply quantity and rate. Select that year quantity. And whenever you will do any steps, always I prefer to do it at the last. It will collapse your table. So year quantity and rate, select it. Now I want to multiply. So add column. And we can go to standard, or you can see multiply. So both the columns will be multiplied. For example, assume these are all total sales. So based on the total sales, assume spelling mistake. Based on the total sales, I want to know what is the tax percentage. I want the 16% of my tax. I want to multiply 16% from this or 18% from this. Select this and go for add column. Only one column selected, add column, standard, where I can say there is an option called as multiply. 2 column na 2 column select panni multiply panna. I want to multiply with a particular value. Select that particular column and go for multiply. Now it will ask what is the value you want to multiply. Let us say 18%. Okay. So it will calculate 18% from the total sales. So like this, very easily you can create some formulas. Okay. Even we have seen how to compare a data with one column to another column, and I want, for example, all the south region, south zone, I want to give a different value. North zone, I want to give a different value. You have to go for add column. Under add column, we can see there is an option called as conditional column. Click on the conditional column. And what is the name of this column? For example, something, other charges, some charges. Column name is, for example, zone. Operator is equal to south zone. If the region is equal to south zone, what I am going to do, for example, I will say 100, something. Add class, zone is equal to north. Something, 200. Like this, you can give some if conditions here. How we are writing if in Excel, same like you can write some if functions here. Something. This is equivalent to conditional column. Okay. Now I want to compare the year quantity with the planned quantity. I want to compare 2 columns, year quantity with the planned quantity. If year quantity is more than my planned quantity, that means we have achieved our target. Otherwise, we didn't achieve the target. So add column, conditional columns, and I want to compare that column. For example, I want to compare the planned quantity. It should be greater than or equal to something. How can I compare one more column here? I want to compare with another column. So click here and you can see there is an option called as select column, where we can select the planned quantity with the year quantity. If the planned quantity is more than the year quantity, that means we didn't achieve the target. So for example, just I say no, or else we have achieved our target. Yes. Something like this. So we can compare two columns and we can make it as a single column also. Tell me, how can I write some formulas like one column I want to add it, another column I want to multiply, and one column I want to divide. So we want to add a column, we want to multiply a column, we want to divide a column. There is an option called as add column. Under add column, we can go for custom columns. Custom columns. Click on custom columns. Last session we did it. Actual minus planned divided by planned. For example, I want year quantity minus planned quantity divided by planned quantity. Actual minus planned divided by planned. Adding, multiplying, you can say add column, just multiply, add. But I want to one add, one multiply, one divide, one subtract. Then you have to go for the custom column. But I think you have to put a bracket also here. As per BODMAS theory, you have to put a bracket. One bracket and close bracket. So actual minus planned divided by. To find the variance percentage. I think we did this variance percentage also. Yes. But I didn't divide it properly. Alright, showing some. Add button. I didn't put the bracket properly. Sorry. The bracket should be here. Right. That's all. I want to separate something here. Still there is a problem. This one bracket. Oh, sorry. This is not bracket or no. This should be in bracket. This should be in. Correct. Sorry. My eye is the problem. This should be within bracket as per BODMAS theory. Yes. How can I convert it as percentage? Click here. Percentage. Yes. Now, I want to split some combining we have seen. Even we have seen some example about splitting a column also. For example, based on the part name, I want to split it. The rear feeder should be in a cylinder head. Cylinder should be in a separate column. Head should be in a separate column. I want to separate it. Select the column. There is an option available. Add column or transform column. So let us go for transform column. Under transform column, we have seen there is an option called as extract. First length, first 3 characters, last 4 characters, range, text before delimiter, text after delimiter. For example, after the space, wherever after the space, I want to separate it. Before the space, I want to separate it. For example, let me go select text after delimiter. And I say space is my delimiter. Because I want a space. Wherever there is a space, I want to separate it. Just say OK. Yes. After the space, whatever the things available, that has been separated into a separate columns. So like this, you can use most of the formulas except the count if and sum if, which cannot be done in Power Query. Count if and sum if can be done only in Power BI. Like this, most of the formulas you can do it in Power Query itself. If time permits, we'll see 1 or 2 formulas today and tomorrow also. But while loading, don't load all the columns or don't load all the tables. For example, this path master, I don't want it. Because based on the path master only, we got the details here. So path master, I don't want it. So I will remove the path master, right click, enable load. I don't want the path master. Similarly, whichever the columns you don't want, you can remove it. In sales distribution, for example, I don't want Q1 quantity, Q2 quantity, Q3 quantity, Q4 quantity. Because based on that, I already found that year quantity. So I don't want that column. I think we discussed this in last session also. Sometimes you can remove the column which is empty. Sometimes you can remove the column which is having the value. Value irundha kuda and the column venana neenga remove pannikalam. For example, I don't want this Q1 quantity, Q2 quantity, Q3 quantity, Q4 quantity. Because already we have summed up the Q2 quantity, Q1, Q2, Q3 and we have made the year quantity here. So I don't want the column. So like this, whichever the columns you don't want it, you can remove it. Which may have the data also. Data irukra column kuda irkalam. And you can remove it. Now you can close and load. Only this sales distribution is loaded, part master will not be loaded. So if the data are identical, if it is in a different sheets, கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரே மாதிரி டேட்டா இருக்கு, ஐடென்டிக்கலா இருக்கு, if it is a different sheets, what is the feature we can use to combine together? 3-4 ஷீட்டும் ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்கு, some data vary ஆயிருக்கு, some data may be extra. So what is the feature we will use? 3 things: append query, merge query, combine files, which I can use if the sheets are similar and I want to combine it as a single file. So what is the feature we can use? Append query as new. If the data are similar but if it's in a different files, data ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்கு, different files are, then we can go for combine files. If the data are different, non-identical data, 2 different sheets are available, equivalent to VLOOKUP, I don't want to write a VLOOKUP, I want to combine the 2 files, I want to combine some column into one file to another file, then we can go for merge query. So 3 things. Today we are going to see one more thing, that is modeling relationship, that we will see it today. Okay, so this is what we did in the last session. I think let me stop the recording.